Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday morning real estate marketing show with RuthieRocks, Ruth Allbrand, and I am Marketing Max. This is show number 351. And today we have a returning guest. He was so popular on the last episode where he was on Mr. George Macias from MDI Security, owner and founder here. And he's actually on site on an installation. And he will be joining us a little bit later in the show. But before we get to George to talk about security again, Ruth, what is happening in Las Vegas?
Everything. My goodness, the houses are still flying off the shelf. We have sold already this month 792 homes. Is that amazing?
792 homes.
Yeah, we're selling over 130 homes a day.
Right.
Which is just incredible. Last November, same date, we only had sold 503, which was 83 homes a day. So November hopefully is going to be the month that pushes us ahead of 2019 because with COVID, we got a little bit behind. We're like 5% behind last year. We're 95% of last year, as Jimmy Dague likes me to say. And yeah, but the scary news is we only have 1.6 months of inventory. So that's of some concern. We listed 141 homes yesterday. So we'll see by Monday how many actually we put under contract. So because if we're listing 141 a day, but we're selling 132 a day, I don't know how that's going to pan out.
Right. Well, it's still a net positive there. I mean, it adds a little bit of inventory, but not much.
It is.
So, yeah.
And one thing that I brought up this week is the bank, I think Bank of America came out with the 5 least affordable areas in the country. And that included San Francisco, Los Angeles, Anaheim, San Diego, and San Jose. And Max, like you and I have talked about all the time, when the median household income gets to where the houses are more than they can afford, they're in trouble. And in San Francisco, only 9% of homes could afford the median priced home in San Francisco of $1.41 million.
Wow.
And so on and so forth. Down with Los Angeles, their income in Long Beach, Glendale is only the income is $71,800 a year. So only 9% of homes were affordable by typical families in Los Angeles.
I never understood how people bought houses when I was living in California. In my years, how are people buying these homes? It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's getting worse. But my point is, for everybody who does any type of social media boosting or advertising, these are the cities to target. Because these people...
Hint. And Ruth's giving away her secrets here. I don't know if everybody knows, but she's giving away her secrets of why her and John have been so successful the last 30 years.
And if you go to nerdwallet.com, you can compare the cost of living between Las Vegas and each one of these cities. And when you do your information that you're boosting and advertising, you can give those facts that, you can come to Las Vegas and we have jobs, on the Agent Formula website, we post the jobs dynamically as they occur. They come on and off the market with Indeed.com. So you've got all the tools to target these areas where people are moving out of. And I took a poll of agents, and people are telling me that 50% of the homes they're selling are to people from out of state. So there you go. The proof is in the pudding.
There you go. Right. No doubt. That's why our real estate market here it's going to be a little special, even though, the local economy is not booming as much as some of the other places, but people are moving here in droves right now.
They are. Yeah.
It's going to continue.
Yeah. Obviously, 133 homes a day are being sold, everybody. Now, the historically low interest rates are just making Las Vegas more and more affordable. So, because if you look at these California cities, every one of those cities have to get jumbo loans, and they don't get the advantage of the lower interest rate.
Right.
So,
yeah. Coupled with that, they sell their home in California and they're putting like 50, 60, sometimes 100% into the new house here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Right. Going from having a mortgage. I mean, I mean, the tax implications are incredible here, especially coming into 2021 here, and with some states in the future. I mean, California's supposedly going to raise their state income tax by another 2, 3, 4%, and anybody that's making over 500,000 right now is seriously considering it. It literally a house here, and the payment pays for itself just in the tax savings for Californians moving here. So
that everybody needs to understand what you just said, because that is a true statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Just in the tax savings. I'm literally people either moving here for free if they want to have a mortgage, because they're saving anywhere between $2,000 a month in income tax, which more than enough pays for a typical house at $400,000 right now here in Las Vegas. So we're going to be in probably some more good times here going into next year.
Absolutely. So I'm going to bring George. George, I'm going to bring you on. So you need to be quiet in the background. Hey, George.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
George, great. I don't know if you just heard what I said, but we're selling 133 homes a day that are going to want your security systems.
We love that. That's
no doubt.
Yeah, we're actually on an install today. I'm actually excited to be on the show. At the same time, I got a little anxiety because I like everything to run perfect and everything to go perfect. So I got the guys started. We're putting in, and I think might be one of the first times out here that you guys are going to get to see a 24/7 color camera. And that 24/7 color camera looks just like this camera right here.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
We get them in white and they come in black. But the cool thing is that what we can do is we can primer that camera and we can color it the same color as your house. That way, when you're driving through a neighborhood and you see a big old white camera sitting on the side of the house, it sticks out. It sticks out. I mean, it's good because it sticks out from the security standpoint, but then the aesthetics of the home, it kind of takes that away. So we don't want people to, when they drive by, to see a camera on the house. We want them to see something, your decorative, your yard, your landscaping. We want people to see stuff like that. We're not so much worried about them seeing the cameras. We want to see them. We don't want them to see us, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So I know it. I seen on there, we were talking about a little bit about license plate cameras. And I could speak to that personally, because I can tell you in my house, we have a pretty good setup. Out by the road, we have, I trenched a line all the way out, and I live on 2.5 acres at one of my properties. And you go all the way to the back of our property. There's cameras back there. You go all the way to the front of the property. We put up license plate cameras, because what we had going on by us was an Amazon truck would come by. They would drop off a package on a neighbor's porch, and within minutes, that package would get redelivered into someone's vehicle, into their house. So what we found, that if we set up these cameras, and we've done some of these for associations, where we set up a license plate camera wherever someone would enter into a gated community, or someone would enter into an entrance of a subdivision. So we set up these cameras up, and when the Amazon truck goes by, it gets the license plate of the Amazon truck. And it also is designed to catch numbers and letters, so it would get the side writing on the Amazon truck. So, and then they would track the license plates of everyone that went behind that Amazon truck and everyone in front. So what we found is that, based on our analytics and our studies that we did, I watched, and we would see the same car or the same truck or the same van follow behind the Amazon truck. Packages would come up missing. So what we did is then we started tracing back to the vehicles that was in the area when this happened, and then we'd find and we'd see. And then what they did is then they had basically a detective unit would set up, and they would watch and they would see, and then that's how they were able to catch a couple of the people that were doing this out by us in the Chicagoland area. That's how they were able to catch them. They would watch, they would see the studies, they'd see the material that we'd put in front of them, and they were able to track, okay, so Amazon's coming through, then we got these 3 vehicles, but every single day it's these 3 vehicles, or it's this one vehicle mixed in with a whole bunch of random cars. So then that's when they'd start tracing that vehicle, follow that vehicle, watch that vehicle. They'd set up, they would know when a package was being delivered, and they'd have someone set up and waiting for them to actually come back by afterwards and take that package.
Wow.
Just from a little bit of data and a little bit of information.
Now who's doing this tracking?
Software, and there's a software in the back of the house that actually tracks everything and puts it into an Excel, because on the top of all of our cameras, there's a little SD card slot right there in the top. So what we do is we slip an SD card in there, and then we can tell that SD card to put it into an Excel spreadsheet for us.
Oh,
so
wow.
when we give it a program, and it drops all that data. It drops a picture of the vehicle, it drops the license plate, and then it gives us the license plate and the time that it came through. So we have a nice little timestamp. And then you can go through and you can pull that data down and you can save it, and then you can have it stored there for you for later on. I can tell you, I was in the paper for my extensive security system. We had you know, some kids, teenagers, you know, adults, whatever it may be, that were coming through, checking doors at night, car doors, taking garage door openers. And when I put in my security system, I got a lot of hate mail. I'm part of a lot of Facebook areas and a lot of Facebook teams, and in the township that we put these cameras in at, they were so mad and angry. I'm never going to drive down there. Why does he need my license plate? Is he trying to catch speeders? Is he trying to? And then there's a bunch of like, is he trying to do this? Well, then we actually, I went on there and I spoke to everybody about it in the group, and I said, hey, I'm not putting this in to track speeders. I'm not putting this in here to track anybody. I said, a license plate is a license plate. It's not your social security number. It's on the vehicle identification number. It's like the VIN. Anybody can get it. It's visible. I said, there's nothing I can do with that information. I said, but what I can do is I can help protect you, my neighbors, and my family as well. So that's the reason why I put these in. And I can tell you that we have zero crime on our quarter mile in the country. There's zero crime out there by us. Everything is, unfortunately, is actually moved to the east, because where the property's at, it's right on the border of Illinois and Indiana. So a lot of times you get people that travel over from Indiana, come over the border, do some stuff, and then they'll go back home. Or from Illinois side, they'll go over to Indiana and then they'll come back. So we live in a very, in the area that we're in is a very vulnerable area, just because it's so close to the border, and you can basically take off and get in any direction you want. You can go downtown Chicago, you can go south, or you can go straight into Indiana. So just by putting those cameras in, it gives a lot of detail, gives a lot of information, and I found it to be very very useful, because it gave me an opportunity. I can go back and I can tell you what time Amazon comes. I can tell you what time our UPS deliveries come in. I can tell you what time FedEx comes down there. So I can track what time our shipments come in. So anytime I'm waiting on a package, I already know what time everybody comes, because I got the data sitting in front of me.
All right. And so the data is for the homeowner, right? It's not downloading up to MDI's system automatically here. So
no, it's an end user function. It's something that they can turn on and they can turn off, and they can keep track of it if they want. Or it's something that just stays in the video recorder, as long as you have as long as it's in your memory, it stays in your memory in there. So if we put in like a 2 terabyte hard drive, you're looking at about 40 days worth of storage for a residential home that has 4 or 5 cameras. It will stay in there, and it will save in there until it's reached its point to where it needs to start overriding data, and then it goes away. But I mean, it's useful for a lot of people, because unfortunately we do live in that time and era now where people are walking up on our porches and they're taking packages and they're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And you know, it's not only is it costing that person, you know, the frustration and then the time, but also it's causing our commodities and our goods to go up in price, because now they've got to carry extra insurance. So now they got to charge a little bit more for that delivery and that product, because now they got to protect it and they got to insure it that we get it. Even though we ordered it, doesn't mean we're necessarily going to get it like we're supposed to. So by putting these things in, what I'm hoping it'll do is it'll start driving those costs to go back down again, because there'll be some safety measures in there. And even if there's not, people will think twice about even entering into someone's property to take a package, of the fear of, what if I'm being recorded, or what if I'm already on tape? So I'm hoping it does exactly what locks were designed to do. Keep all people honest.
That comes to be a great question, is like, I would think it would be a deterrent when someone has a camera, right, for people trying to do illegal activity. But some of these, when you look on Facebook and you look on some of these videos that people put out of, people taking packages, it doesn't seem to care. I mean, the criminals are looking straight at the camera, right? And so, what do you think? I guess my question is, like, how big of a deterrent is a camera? And even if you get their face, what's the ramifications or the ability for them to even get caught?
Well, that's the good thing about that is if you put the film in and you grab the film and you send it over to your local law enforcement, they can take that data and they can run it through a facial recognition system. and they can go back and they can tell you who that individual is. It's no different than if you go to a casino. You drive to the casino, you pull in the parking garage, they've already pulled your license plate and they know who you are. Mm-hmm. If you have any severe outstanding warrants, they'll meet you at the door. Just no different than if you walk into the casino, they already know your whole entire background, where you've been arrested, how many times you've been arrested. And then to even go one more further, they actually have a software now that they can tell you that if any of the dealers that are in there dealing at the tables, if you and them have ever encountered each other on social media. So not only went as far as they know who you are, but now they're into your social media feed. Now they can see exactly who you've been communicating with across the actual internet. They can tell if you have any kind of connection. And that's how they cut down on the cheating. That's how they cut down on all that. You sitting down with your buddy that's the dealer at the table, you're not going to see that at all in Vegas. When it comes to that, they have their system on lock, and it's like there's over 2,000 cameras on the players' floor alone. That's not counting once you enter into the hotel rooms, you enter into the parking garages, the outdoor couriers, the restrooms, all that stuff, or when you're going down that long hallway or you're going into a restaurant. That's not even counting those cameras. They have the system, the software, and if it's used and utilized the right way, by your local law enforcement, then it protects you in the long run. That's why I think having a camera or two, I think, is the best thing. And we also have in our, if you want this feature, we can definitely order our equipment with it to where, say I was your Amazon delivery guy and I delivered 20 packages, and I noticed that every day no one's getting the packages from this house, and I'm like, oh, they're on vacation. And I decide that I'm going to come back after hours at night and I'm going to take all those packages, but they have a camera. So I go up there, I take all those packages, I go home, and I think I got away with it. And what happens is, if you have this facial recognition system on our software, what happens is it goes back and you can put a box around the face when you're looking at the video recordings, and it will pull up every single film, every single clip that has your face in it. So the Amazon guy came back and he took my packages. How do you know? Look at this. And then it goes back, you put a little box around their face, and you're able to show all the data that proves that one factor. Facial recognition, for some people, scares them, and because it kind of freaks them out because they feel like everyone's watching, they'll know where they're at. But at the same time, it kind of is designed to do exactly what I just said it was designed to do, to really track back if someone was casing your house. And it's also good if you're looking at your cameras and you're like, I don't recognize that person. They don't live in my neighborhood, because we usually know who our neighbors are. And you can put a little box around their face and you can run the software, and then you can see how many times they've been by your house, or where they go, oh, that's Steve next door. It must be his buddy because he's there 3 or 4 times this month. Now you know who that person is. Not that you want to be nosy about it, but we want to protect our homes and we want to protect our loved ones, and more importantly, we want to protect our house. We want to protect our everything we work hard for. So that's the thing with facial recognition. It runs right in there with the license plate cameras. People are have sensitive data out there, but it's not out there to be harmful if it's used the right way.
Yeah, not only that, people are in public areas in plain sight. It's not like you're putting cameras in secret places in people's homes and stuff like that, to record their data and what they're doing. If they're walking their dog, I think they're subject to being photographed, filmed, whatever. In a public place. I think people will get over it, given the benefits of having, if every house in the neighborhood, literally the new neighborhood watch should be a camera on every single, home in the area, so that we know who's going through the neighborhood.
One over the front of the garage. I always tell everybody, you got to have one over the front of the garage. Just have one over the front of the garage, just so you can see who's coming down, who's walking up to your house. And then the whole neighborhood's covered at that point. Once you have that done, you'll be able to track who comes down the road, who does that. And that was the whole purpose of me putting in my license plate camera, besides from packages being stolen, was what if someone got broken into 3 miles down the road and their cameras were really bad cameras and you couldn't barely see anything, kind of like the bank's cameras. Every bank camera, I look at them and I'm like, the feed is just horrible when we look at them, because there's a lot of times I'm called to do a film reveal, and I got to look at it, and then I look at the camera, I'm like, oh, that is awful. But then you got those awful cameras, but then you got someone down the street like me who's got really good cameras. And then there's a white van with a blue stripe. And the next thing you know, I got the white van with the blue stripes license plate, and I got a picture of their face as they're rolling by my house. Now all of a sudden, I'm the best guy in the neighborhood. Versus a month ago, I was like, oh my goodness, this guy has all these cameras. What is he worried about?
Right.
Well, I'm in security, so of course my house is going to be Fort Knox. My office is going to be Fort Knox.
Right. Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. But you know, that's how I compensate for people who have put in cameras and they haven't updated them yet. Is I put in a really good system that people can see and they can utilize when they need it. You know, it's great to view, but I want to know that when the time comes and we need that data, is it going to A, give them exactly what they need, and B, can you identify somebody off of our cameras? I won't put something in unless I've trialed it and I've tried it myself.
George, the one thing that I love about the license plate detector is a lot of these people that are coming and stealing, they're shielding their heads with a hoodie. You know, and so you really sometimes have a hard time seeing their face. But if you have their license plate number, that's such a benefit.
Yep, it is. And especially if you get, and that's why I like the fact that when one neighbor does something, somebody sees that new sign and then they want the information. And if it gets spread out the right area, if someone parks 4 houses down and you got one of those big old PTZs that will zoom in almost a half a mile away, and then you can see everything up close and crisp and clear, then you've got what you need. And then you can zoom in and you can see that license plate. You can see where that individual went to. And that's why I have so many different, like, I always call them, like, I have all kinds of goodies. I have things that people never even thought of. Like, we got pinhole cameras that we can put up. We've got our license plate cameras, our PTZs. We got the small PTZs that you can actually put inside your office. You can put in like in a little corner and you can zoom in. So if you have a point of sale location, you put it up in the corner and you can zoom in and you can actually see what currency that you're being given and what currency you're being given back. We set those up in some Dairy Queens throughout the Chicagoland area and some cousin subs, and they're awesome. I've already had one manager tell me, he's like, yeah, we had a lady come in and she swore up and down. She gave the girl at the register a $50 bill and she got the wrong change back. She goes, but I was able to go back through with your camera. I was able to zoom in and show her the $20 bill with the serial number that she gave us. She goes, I didn't do that. She's like, right. I love it. So, I mean, we got people out there that actually, you know, and that's what I love. I love hearing those stories afterwards. I love it when someone says, hey, you know, call MDI. If you want really good system, call MDI. They'll take care of you.
So all this stuff sounds great, but I can tell you from a consumer standpoint, this sounds awfully expensive, George. So tell me, one, I have two follow-up questions, right? First question is, at the end of the day, if I'm looking for, you know, I'm not looking to be, you know, MGM, right? I don't need to get everything at every detail, but I do want to keep my family safe. I do want to know who's coming to my door, who's walking down in front of my house, right? First question is, what would you recommend as a, you know, must-have, or, you know, one step above must-have from a camera system standpoint that will give you kind of that sense of security that you're looking for, that I just described?
Okay. I always tell everybody, you don't always have to have the 24/7 color cameras. If you have really good lighting, or if you have a spotlight that'll come on when there's movement, when someone comes walking up, it picks you up. All you need is a really good 4 or 5 megapixel camera. We sell a really good 4 or 5 megapixel camera. If you have something in the backyard that's horrible lighting, go with a 24/7 color camera. I set up the cameras so that you have to have less cameras than what you need, because if you have, I promise you, if you have 16 cameras, you're only looking at 4 cameras,
right?
On a regular basis. I'm telling you that right now. I can tell you right now, I probably have between my 4 locations, I probably look at maybe 12 cameras out of all those all together, 12 cameras that are my most important cameras. And that's what I like about what we do, is we come out and I'll be upfront with the customer. I'll say, hey, if you're working in a budget and you got a top budget, let me know what it is, because I want to stay as well under it as I can. Because as I'm putting the system in, you're going to find things, and you're going to find spots that maybe you want an extra camera put in. And my goal is to make sure that I leave enough room in that budget that you can add more stuff into it. And yes, it could come off as being expensive to some people. But here's what I challenge you to do. I challenge you to not order off Amazon. Don't order out of Best Buy, but call out another local security company, have them give you a price, and then call out MDI and lay that paper down on the table and say, this is what I got. Can you give me something better? And can you give it to me at a more affordable cost? And then we will sit down with that. And that's my guarantee, is we will find a way to give you the same product, if not a higher quality product, at a lesser cost, to make it more cost effective for you. Because we don't want cost to get in the way from you being able to protect your family, or you having the level of security you need. We don't want that to happen. So I'll say sometimes to customers, can you tell me what you want to pay? Sure. Don't me tell you, tell me what you want to pay. You tell me what you want to pay. I'll put together a package for you, and then you tell me if you like that package. You tell me if I'm missing anything that you want to cover, and I'll turn around and I'll make sure that we make it happen for you. Because some customers, they still have that, they remember those cameras they used to have, and they had like a view of like literally this, and you couldn't see barely anything. It's like looking down a hallway. That was the view. Well, now we're 105 degree. So now we can see more. Now we can add on to where we can do a complete 360. It's one camera with 4 lenses inside, and it sees everything. Now we got fisheye cameras that we can put in the middle of a room, and it looks like you got 20 cameras in there, because you can zoom in on all these different spots, and you can actually pull in the desk view. You can see what you left on the desk. You can look in there, and you can basically see the whole entire layout of the whole entire floor and the whole entire room. And that's the thing. It's, to some people, they've had companies out there, and it's left a bad taste in their mouth, and now they don't want it to do.
Oops, we lost him.
Oh,
come back, George. Come back, George.
Looks like internet connection's good.
And Teresa, yeah, they do have you. I have an intercom at my house, and yeah, they can do that. Yeah, they can do that. It's pretty cool. Everything that he does is really cool. And one of the things that he didn't say, and Teresa wanted to know, what's the difference if you purchase from Costco, Sam's, or Amazon compared to him? I can tell you that the quality that you get from George is better than the quality you get from those other places. And George's prices are, for the most part, less. I won't say all of them because I don't know that, but for the ones that we did, and we did our research, what he supplied for us is cheaper than we could get ourselves, because he doesn't have he doesn't make his money. His markup isn't to where he makes his money. He makes his money over time, over the monthly service fee. And that ours got cut in half. So he's not a huge company with a lot of overhead. You know, he's a big company, but he's not like an ADT or some of these people that, you know, that have huge overheads. Okay. And so, Teresa, I did my homework, and I really am impressed. And here's the other thing he didn't tell you. If you have children, he will install glass break devices on their windows for free. For free. If you have children, he will not charge you for the devices that he puts on the windows to detect glass break or someone opening the window. So that's really cool what he does too. And hopefully he'll come back.
Yeah, and the one thing, I mean, if everybody didn't tune into the last time George was on the show, you know, one of the things I really like about what he said is like he's really focused. You know, a company's behind their product and service when they're not trying to make every dollar upfront on you, and they realize that the longer you stay as a customer, the longer they're going to be profitable. And that's really where he puts the majority of his like profit focus, is on the monthly service fee and banking that you will continue past the initial 3 years, right? That you have the contract, or 2 years, or whatever, when the contract ends, because anything after that in the long term is very profitable for a security company. And unfortunately, you know, with the other competitors out there, they're focused more now on the transaction costs. They know, because they know the turnover for these alarm systems are so big, and people move every 3 to 4 or 5 years, right? But George is, you know, playing the long game, is from what I kind of assess, you know, in the conversation last time, is that even if people move, they're going to call him up to install the new alarm system or take the old one and continue the service with him. And people don't do that if they one initially felt like they got ripped off, right? Or got sold something that didn't really need, or, you know, sold something that didn't really work as well. And so, you know, that's one thing that I garnered from George the last time I talked to him. And and you get to directly deal with the owner of the company, right? I mean,
Right.
you're not going to beat that. No one cares about the company more than the owner. So if he comes out and like he's doing right now on site at an installation with his team,
yeah, that's
you're
pretty
not going
awesome.
to get that, right? You're not going to get that from a lot of places. So
Yeah, here he's coming back. Hang on. George is back. So George, Teresa, can you hear me? George, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Yep, gotcha.
Okay,
Yep.
so Teresa had a question about the intercom, and you can talk to the people, but I said, yes, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Having an intercom. So I'm going to not let George off the hook right here. I'm going to be, Larry King and make sure you answer my question. So George, the question is, right? I'm on I'm not, I'm not the cheapest budget and I'm not the highest budget, right? But I want something that just, I don't want Fort Knox. I don't want MGM security, right? But I want something that captures, traffic coming in and out of my neighborhood and the front side of my house. And then maybe some traffic in my backyard if I'm scared of that. So give me a setup, right, of how many cameras that would take to eventually do that, and then break down a hypothetical cost for me with the cameras and the security system.
All right, here's what I would do. How's your lighting in the backyard?
So I have a let's pretend I have a motion detector spotlight that comes on if there's any motion. Okay, that covers 15, 20 feet radius to light up.
Well, we can see up to 130 feet of night vision. So 130 feet is our field range view. So we're able to basically light up that 130 feet and give it black and white, basically. So it gets a good image. We can see who it is. We can see a good face. So in something like that, if I would probably go in the back, if it's got poor lighting, I'd go with a 24/7 color camera in the back. Even though you got that little bit of 10 foot of lighting, it's still not going to do enough for what I would want and for what my standard is. I have a standard. If you want me to protect and catch everything in your backyard, then I've got to set up the right camera that I feel like that's gonna complement that. Last thing I want to do is I'll never put a system in just because I need to meet the customer's price. Because what happens then is exactly what's been happening. Everyone starts to look for cheap cameras, cheaper. I don't like the word cheap. I like the word affordable. Affordable is a more realistic term for what we try to do for customers. We look for an affordable way to make it work for them. So a 4-channel NVR, we put in a 4-channel NVR, and then say we did 2 terabyte hard drive, and then say we did 1 24/7 color camera, and then say we did a 4 megapixel camera in the back. So then let's do that. And then installation, wire, hardware, everything in that nature. So you're looking at some Cat 5e or Cat 6, depending on how far the run is. Then you have hardware. So let's just do that. So ballparking that just in your material, you could be somewhere right around in the ballpark of, $800-900, somewhere around.
And how many cameras is that?
We could put 2 or 3 cameras in for that, because here's what happens. We buy a lot of our stuff in bulk. And so if I'm doing a bulk order, then I'm selling all my cameras at my bulk order cost is what I'm getting at. Now, here's another catch. Say you get an alarm with us. You get an alarm with us, then we're going to go ahead and take out that installation. We're going to cut the installation in half. Then we're going to start working with the numbers in there just to pretty much make it to where it's more affordable for the end user, because they are doing the alarm system with us. And really, that's the main thing. And cameras are great. Cameras are awesome. Yes, they give you what you need. But let me ask you this. Once they're there and they're gone, this is Vegas. There's a lot of people who are here and then gone tomorrow. There's a lot of people that are in and out. So the main thing for me is to make sure that while they're in your home, we catch them in your home and we can watch them. We can see that they came in the front door. We can see that they went out the back door. So that way, while all those things are happening, you're on your phone and you're looking at it, and then you're letting you're letting everyone know, like as you're talking to the monitoring station, as they call your alarms going off, you say, yes, they're in my house right now. They came in through my garage, and then you're able to give them a live update. I haven't seen them leave the house yet. And then they're letting the cops know they're still in the house. The customer's online looking at their cameras. They're still in the house. So cameras are great, but that's just one step of real true security. Your second step is actually having the alarm system in there so you can actually catch it in action while it's going on, because you want that extra level of security to know that you're watching what's happening, but then you're also able to let the authorities know that they're still in your house. They're still there. You need to get someone there. And it kind of just fits hand in hand.
And so people don't need to have monitors in their home, right? I mean, they can view everything online, because what I'm picturing, it's like this.
Yep.
Because a lot. I mean, for me, like I don't want to have a setup somewhere that takes up space where I have 4 monitors. Is it possible just to view everything on the phone?
Oh, the greatest thing about what we do is we're able to actually take that, run a 100-foot Cat5 from the back of your NVR and run it to wherever your TV is, and then all you got to do is hit an HDMI input, and you can change, and you can get your cameras to pop up on your TV.
Cool.
And your phone.
Yep, your phone, your iPad, all that stuff. Any smart device you're on, you just pull it right up. You can watch it. And
it's online.
Yep.
But it's on a private IP.
Yep. And that's the thing. We use a lot of times. We'll use a DDNS. We'll use your ports. We'll open up ports. We'll forward it. So that way you can get it from your phone. We can set up a custom IP address while you're in your house, so you can still view it online while you're in your house from your smartphones. So I mean, there's a lot of different things we can set up just to give you an extra level of security, and then also to make it more accessible for you.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the viewers said, "What about Arlo?"
Everyone always loves their Arlo cameras. They do. And here's kind of my view. My view on Arlo is they're great for somebody who doesn't really know much about what they really need in security. But you show me 100 customers that are satisfied with Arlo 100%, and you got me. Then I'll be convinced that Arlo is the best thing. They're easy to do, but let me throw something else at you. If you're buying something from an Amazon or a Best Buy, I guarantee you those are not weather-specific cameras. And what I mean by that is if you're buying something online or you're buying something from overseas, those cameras are made in mass quantity to be cheap. So if something's cheap, that means they have less. They just have less put into them, and they're not specific to your climate. And I've seen a lot, because out of Chicago office, the weather is frigid during the winter. It's freezing, it's cold, it's -40, -50, 60. This couple of winters ago, it was the worst winter we ever had. It was the coldest winter we've ever had. And I can tell you that I had 0 cameras go down, but I can tell you I was on a lot of service calls, replacing a lot of cameras for other security companies that we do service work for, because they bought those cameras from Amazon, or they bought those cameras online, or they got it in a security package from their security dealer, and they weren't for their area. And what I do is all my stuff's bought locally. So when I come out to my Nevada location, I come out here, all my orders come either from LA, Phoenix, Sacramento, or we have a distributor out of Houston, and then we have one here in Las Vegas. Because if something's being housed and something's being stocked in this area, then it's specific. Some of the stuff is specific. Like we have motors in our cameras, and the motors inside our cameras, they're small motors. What they do is they're designed to run a little tiny fan inside there. If it's really, really hot, they run to keep the elements cooled off. If it's really, really cold, they run and they produce heat, which then heats all the elements in there so they don't freeze. So that's kind of what we do. And that's kind of what we make sure that we do, that we're not ordering something just from anywhere just to get it in because we want to sell the product. That's kind of why I don't really lean more towards Arlo than I do anything else. Is I'm not saying it's a bad product, because I really, to be quite frank with you, I don't use a Harlow. I've seen them, I've ordered them in, and I've looked at them, and I literally closed the box and I gave it away. I said, I just gave it to someone. Hey, give this away as a gift to somebody if they don't want to do security or security cameras, just so they have something. But I can't work with these because they're not going to take care of the needs that my customer is going to need. It's not going to do that for them.
What's amazing, because when I did the security system at the office, and I'm not going to mention who I used, but anyway, I was amazed. Yes, I had an app on my phone, but I couldn't zoom in. And I needed to see who came in on a particular day because we had a situation. So, but I couldn't zoom in to see what was going on. Even though the alarm went off and I knew somebody was in the building, I couldn't do that. And I think because I didn't know any better. Plus, that equipment was really expensive, and your equipment is already cheaper and does so much more. And that's my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So how much wiring and extras work putting in these cameras? Is it going to tear up my house? What's that process like?
If you have a small little crawl area up above in the attic, usually we can get through there and we can pull it. Right now, my guys are actually doing that pull now, where they're actually going through the attic, and which is very rare to even have a big open area that you can actually get into for the attic. But that's really what it looks like. If we have to go on the outside, we'll do conduit, but then we'll paint the conduit to match the house. We don't like exposed wires. Exposed wires to me is what we call in our industry are trunk slammers. They're people who come in and they got a box of wire and a camera, and they're throwing the box on one end and they're pulling the wire and they're stapling it to the side of your house, and it looks like you had just looks like you had a 3-year-old out there playing with a crayon.
Somebody can cut them.
Yeah, someone will walk up, cut them, and then you're done. It does you no good. Someone will walk up and just literally take it and just pull it right off. So that's why I don't like doing it that way. We can go through the attic. We'll use the attic. If not, then what we do is we'll go outside. We'll find where your router is on the outside, in the inside of the house. We'll put a little enclosure box with a lock on it. We'll run conduit up, and then we'll follow the same trace line all the way through. And we'll make sure everything's level all the way around. When we get to a spot where we're going to put a camera, we'll put a nice little outdoor enclosure box there. We'll put all of our wires inside there. We'll hang the camera on there. We'll seal it with silicone, and we'll keep going all the way around until we find your next camera spot in your next location. And we'll keep it nice, clean, and neat. And we just take a pride in what we do. So at the end, we want you to walk out there and we want people to be like, wow, that's a really clean install. It's a really nice install. That's what we want.
Fantastic. So that leads me kind of to my probably one or two final questions here for you, George, is when people evaluate, right, one, the work, and two, the proposal of these security systems and camera systems, give us 1, 2, 3, if they don't use you, right, or even if they use you, just to double check your work, right, is what do they need to look for to know that their product is going to work the way they want it, or the quality is there and there weren't any shortcuts taken?
If you're sitting in front of a security dealer and they can't pull up instantly multiple different types of installs they've done, pictures they've done, or even their own system, then I would question that. I'd be really leery. If they can't throw out, like I can throw out places we've done, like I've done PGA Tour stores. I've done commercial grocery stores. I've done work in Kohl's. I've done Targets. I've done Lowe's, Menards. I've done Home Depots. I mean, I've been in all these locations, and when you walk into those locations, I mean, they're big companies. They want stuff done right. They want them done clean, and that's what we do.
Okay. Yep. Any other tips? Any other things that you've seen that, like, wow, I can't believe that company did that? To look for when I.
Oh man, I've seen where they've just taken just a wad of wires and just taken them and just put them up top and then taped them and left them outside and just plugged it into the outlet outside your back sliding glass door and just stapled it straight up. I mean, that stuff right there is just shoddy work. It's not clean work. You can do an outlet up top. You can do that stuff. You can have it done the right way. Looking over how they're installing their stuff, talking to them before they even start, and kind of having them just run you through what their game plan is if they can't do that for you. And then looking at their setup, how are they setting things up? Are they bringing in all the equipment? Is all the equipment in closed boxes? Is some of it open? Looking at what they're bringing in, everything should always be sealed and closed. Like when we bring in our stuff, all of our stuff's still in packaging. Well, we unpackage the stuff in front of the customer, because the last thing I want is a customer to say, well, I feel like this was used before. Well, no, because you watched me open it up and take it out of the sealed plastic. Those are things they need to look at. And those are kind of the questions you need to ask. And then I challenge everybody to, if you're going to go with a company, let us look it over. Let us look over what you're going to do. If you got a proposal, email that proposal over to us. Go on our website, mdiprotects.com. There's a little thing in there that says request service or submit a question. Go in there and submit a question. Say, hey, I want to send in a proposal. Send it to info@mdi.services. Send me in what you got. Send me what the customer, what they're sending to our customers. I want to see what's going out there. I want to see what other dealers are sending to them and what type of equipment they're putting in, because I almost guarantee you we're going to find something in everything. And I'm sure some dealers will look at our stuff and they'll be like, oh, well, they're overcharging this, they're overcharging that. They're not really giving you this, because everyone has their own product. But the one thing I can tell you is I do work for all the major security companies. I do work for them. I'm one of their subcontractors that does their work, from all the way out here in California, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Georgia, Florida. I've done work in all those states for other major companies. I'm not going to name who they are because everyone knows who they are, but I'm the guy that they call when they want to do when they want their installations done. I'm the company that they call to come out and look at those stuff. And I look at the equipment that we install. I see the equipment that we install, and I always look at it and I'm like, why are they installing this cheap stuff? Why are they installing this? Like, why is this what they're doing? Like, and I look at it and it's the cost of commodities. It's the price, because they're going to buy it, and they're going to buy it because it's cheaper, and then they can just throw it in and put it on a package deal, and they can charge them monthly on it. That's why they're doing that. And it's like, I would much rather come in there and put a system in there that's going to last a very long time and work with you on payments, because in the end, I want MDI to be the biggest company out there, and I want my customers to be, and my clients to be like, this is what I got from MDI, check it out. I have police officers that look over my video feed all the time. Actually, I was just in Bradley, Illinois, working with the Bradley Police Department on a fight that occurred in one of the bars, and there was a guy that got busted over the head with a beer bottle. But you know what? Out of all the cameras that are in that area, none of them can do what ours have done for them. And you can call, if anyone wants to call in to Bradley Police Department and talk to Detective Jensen or Detective Snyder and ask them, hey, MDI, how do they do out there for you guys? How's their cameras? What do they look like? What's the feed look like? I guarantee you they're going to tell you, hey, like, you can see what's going on and you can see faces, and we don't ever question. If we know MDI's got a system in there, we know we got what we need to try the case, and they'll tell you that. Same thing with Kankakee County, same thing with Illinois State Police, same thing with Chicago PD. We've done film reviews for all of them, and they're going to tell you right now, if they see an MDI sticker on the outside of that property, then 9 out of 10 times they're going to say, hey, we already know we're going to get what we need out of that. If it's in there, if something happened there, it's going to be on their film.
Fantastic. Well, that's a good endorsement from all these people. So,
yep. And you can call them. I encourage people, call and check our references, call and check our work, but more importantly, call us out to do the work, because I guarantee you'll be happy.
Yeah. So everybody watching this show, take them up on the offer. If you're looking for a security system right now, or got a proposal ready, or just got one installed, George is willing to take a look at it.
If you're not going to use us, still use our expertise. Use what we use my training to your advantage. And I'm not going to charge you for it, because I want in the back of your head, even if you're not going to use us, I still want in the back of your head to say, MDI looked over my security plan and they approved it. Or they looked over my security plan, they found a couple spots in there they didn't like, but I'm already locked into using this company. But when I'm done with this company, I'm calling MDI. If we can't get you now, we want you later. This isn't about, hey, call me because I want you to only use me and I want to be the company you use. We all want that. But in the end, if you're already locked in with somebody, give us the opportunity the next time around to fix those gaps and fix those areas and improve your security. We're fine with that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Any last words from you?
We
George,
have
before we let you go here.
Yes, we have our sales rep in the area. His name's James Radley. He'll be working out of a West Sahara office, and he'll be in there interlinked with a lot of other professionalisms to kind of embrace the energy that we feel in that office. We're excited. We're more than excited about our new location. We're excited about the team that we'll be a part of, and more importantly, I just cannot wait to get out there and start working with more and more people in the Valley. I will say one thing. I had a phone call on Tuesday as soon as I landed into Las Vegas from my monitoring station, the guy who basically is in charge of going out and working with all the dealers. And he had a local alarm company out of Utah that was in dire need of rescue, basically. The gentleman who owned the company, I'm not going to name him or go into too much personal, but he has some really bad health issues right now. And they reached out to me asking me, hey, I need someone to take care of my customers. I hate to, I don't feel like I'm losing them because I know they're going to a good place. He's like, but can you take them over for me? And I said, I'm like, yeah, well, what's this entail? We went over the stuff. So we got all their customers, and because we had such a good reputation, and people that worked with us all over, they've referred us, and they said, hey, you need to call MDI, work with them on it. So they actually handed over their customers to us, and now we're taking over. I think we got 27 new businesses out in Salt Lake City that we are now taking care of, and I got to go out there and kind of go out there and meet all these business owners and take over their contract and take over all their work. So it looks like we're going to be going into Utah next.
Wow.
Yep, we just got the phone call the other day that there's 2 more major companies that have asked about us, and one was United and the other one was Toyota. So those are a couple big companies that were asking about us. So, there's big things coming for us nationwide, but more importantly, we're excited to be now to have roots set here in the Valley and here to service the anyone that needs us, whether it be a small business, big commercial, or just our residential. We're really wanting to, we're wanting to be in about 300 homes by the end of December. That's our goal right now. 300 homes by the end of December, and to have all 300 of those homes on our Facebook, on our social media, basically talking about the things we're able to do for them and provide for them, because I know that we can do this, and I know that we're going to get that back from our team. So I'm excited. We're just excited to be here and be a part of this. It's surreal. It still hasn't hit me. All the wonderful people that I've been working with, and just I'm trying to embrace everything and trying to just take everything in and still stay grounded, at the same time. So I'm excited to be on here again, and hopefully we can just keep doing this. And as we get new material, I'll make sure you guys are the first ones to know about it, so that way we can go live and launch it with you.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate you coming on. We apparently have a troll now in the feed. And I don't know. It's just to speak with you guys. I don't know if did you guys see a warning? It looks like my IP address got ghosted here or replicated here, and it got delayed. So I don't know. And right after that, this troll came on. So we're gonna end the show here. I'm gonna check my network, make sure it's all secure. But Ruth, any quick last words before we end the show here?
Well, I just want to thank
we've made it, Ruth, because we've had our first security breach here on the show. So we've made it.
I want to thank George for everything he's doing. And he's at a friend of mine's house. And I thank them for letting George do this while he's doing an installation at their house. That's really friendship, I have to tell you.
Yes.
And our classes are on b.vegas. Please go there and sign up. We have classes all the rest of this month. Our cybersecurity classes a week from Monday. Please make sure you sign up for that, because that's really critical to your future as a real estate agent or anybody in business. You've got to keep your customers and yourself cyber secure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. And we only have a few days left in this year, 54, I think.
Right.
So it's flying by, George, for you to get those 300 homes.
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Talk to you next week. And tune in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for Ruth.
Thank you.
Daily Shopping.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.